What's going on, everyone? Hope everyone's doing all well. Press one if you can hear me. All right, people joining in. What's going on, everyone? Let me know where you guys are from. Where are you tuning in from? How you doing, guys? We're gonna give it another minute or two, and we're gonna get started. All right. Super excited to get into this today, fam. Here, just gonna turn this over there. All right, all right. Who we have in the building? Who we have in the building? Who we have in the building? We have California, we have Dallas, lots of Georgia. Florida, Philly, okay. Brooklyn is in the house. Let's go. Where's everyone at? All right. All right, all right. Florida, okay. Houston, Virginia. Jerome, what's going on, brother? All right, Dev Mac. All right, all right. Everyone can see the screen? Everyone ready to get started? Let me know, fam. All right, all right. We're going to get this started now, all right? Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the new month game plan. We're going to remove some of these drawings from the screen right now. Hold on. And we're really excited to have you here again for another new month game plan. We were just here 30 days ago when we went over our Q2 game plan. We're going to actually cover what happened over the course of this first month of this quarter. And then as we get into it, we're going to be covering lots of great setups, all the things that you need to be looking at coming into this new month. And so today I'm joined by my partner here, Jamal. This is going to be a great session. We come together, we do a lot of planning, and we also take questions from you along the way. We're going to have some setups that we're going to, look towards looking at from your side as well. Feel free if there's any types of tickers or more or things that are opportunities you want to share, because everything about Teach Trade is about each one, teach one. That's what fully drives our mission. That's what puts us here in a position for us to be able to put this in a space such that we're able to actually thrive as a community. All right. And so this is what we're going to be looking at today. And I'm really excited for what we're going to be covering all in front of this. All right. And so what we're going to be covering today, we're going to be going over first what's happened here in Q2, what hit, what missed. All right. What did the framework teach us for the framework that we're using to find some of these setups uh, for this upcoming month? And what are we going to be utilizing as the macro context heading into May? After that, we're going to go over some key dates and some earnings that you should pay attention to. Who here likes NVIDIA? Put NVIDIA there in chat if you are ready for NVIDIA. Who's a big NVIDIA fan? NVIDIA's coming up very soon, all right? By the way, Curtis, nice to see you back. I was actually thinking about you the other day, Curtis. I didn't know you had knee surgery, so I'm glad you're recovering. And I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone's in good health. I want to make sure this is an engaged session, all right? We're going to get into some setups and some levels. I'm going to go over a lot of my big watch list. Jamal's going to go over his, and then we're going to have a sector outlook as well. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you what we have planned for you next month here in Teach Trade and how we're looking towards helping you even further in a more hands-on, intimate environment. All right. And so let's do a bit of a recap so far of Q2. All right. And so one of the main things that we have to understand for what we did is that we had some really crazy opportunities that came up, and we're going to cover them in detail very soon. All right. But we talked about the ceasefire that past month, right? And we said that it's going to be pretty crazy going into April with that happening. But with all the talks between, Iran and the United States. But one of the things we called out the president a little bit on his bluff because what happened? Ceasefire, delaying of all of these components of the war, that's sending the market up even higher and higher. And that even contributed to some of those major stock opportunities that we talked about. And we're going to be grading our results, actually. We're going to be grading our results a bit about how well we did in that Q2 planning session and then what we're going to be doing upcoming. Because one of those big ones, as you see here, was ARM. And that was something I really want to cover. And we're going to get to that. All right. And so one of the things here's the on the scorecard. So the major ticker 30 days ago that I was covering and shouting at the top of my lungs for what you need to consider. And give me one quick sec, fam. All right, we're back. We're back. Just had to take care of something a bit. All right, but we're back here. Right back on track. So the one big thing that we talked about was ARM. ARM was one of the biggest trades of the month. With ARM, we called it such that, and I'm going to pull this up here, this screenshot. We had a major breakout, a major breakout. All right. Here above 170. We were talking about 165. We also gave you guys a full blueprint document, and we're going to be giving that to you at the end of this call as well, once we save the recording and all. All right. So this is being recorded, and you'll have access to reviewing all of these and more, all of the setups that we're going to cover today. And then we're going to give you a full breakdown, a document that you can go ahead and download so you can just use it in your next trading day. All right. So did anyone here in our chat catch ARM? Anybody catch ARM, whether even for a day? All right. Let's see. So, all right. Is it just one person? Two people? We got two people. I'm gonna make myself the third person. We have four people. All right, we have five. And so what we had there was one of the biggest, craziest moves here as we charted this breakout happening that was a multi-year breakout. This was forming since ARM first IPO'd. And so we were looking for this breakout for that long, essentially. It was giving just undesirable results. But as we plotted this out and saw that we were going to break the new month and also break through the new quarter, that our price target that we said was $200. And now this got to $237. It increased by over 30% from that entry point that we identified in our last session. All right. So that was an A plus trade. I ended up getting 2027 calls and they are currently up 260%. All right. And some of these people in chat, they're able to catch over 500 and to 1,000% on that swing if you got any type of expiration that was shorter than 1 year out. It was a banger. All right. One of the other things very quickly, AMD, AMD had a bearish setup on the quarter, right? And or the month, one of them. And so we were going into the idea that, hey, it's going to start April a bit bearish. All right. But what happened is that AMD hit its previous lows and then bounced all the way to get to the other side. And that's very much the concept that we talk about very often here at Teach Trade, which is the LVL, which stands for liquidity, validate the trend, target the other side. So AMD took liquidity in the sense, just simplifying it for anyone who hasn't heard about it, hitting previous lows. It shifted its trend towards the upside, and then it targeted its all-time highs. And now, who caught AMD here? Who saw the reversal and caught AMD anywhere to the upside? You see how high that thing is? Put AMD, yes, yes, yes in the chat if you were one who caught it. And then Netflix, we actually got a really good move from Netflix as well. So these were my top three trades. But Netflix, that was an A. I wouldn't call it an A plus. We got a very nice breakout above 100. We were able to get up to about 110, 115. And then it pulled back after earnings, of course, as a lot of you have seen. But we were able to catch it at the trigger and actually have a pretty good outcome. All right. And so, Jamal, if you're here, I don't know if you're here on camera or anything, but you know, let me know, or I could cover this slide for you. But this was some of Jamal's review here for what happened here on this side, what we had here on some of the tickers that were planned, and honestly, we had a really great scale. Jamal gave way more value, so many setups, and we simply from Jamal's discretion, SPY was the one. SPY was the one. Who's in SPY today, and what price is at today? Jamal, you want to come off mute?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, Spy was it was a simple setup. I believe it was all there on the chart, and actually, all of the indexes I think had a similar setup. That was just showing you that they wanted to go up. And so that really worked out. Spy as well as QQQ, IWM, as we can see, they all actually hit new all-time highs last month. So that worked out perfectly. Um, yeah, you can see it there on the screen. If I could also bring your attention to Google, that was a very good one as well. I'm not sure if it was just something that I said to have eyes on, but my preparation was to get it to, 349. And currently I think Google is like at 370. So that was, outstanding as far as that. But the biggest thing that I'm proud of on here is Marvell, because I kind of have a personal attraction to Marvel because, like I said, I like Marvel superheroes, and so that's kind of like just then the name alone draws me to it. But they have been so under the radar for so long, and then all of a sudden they had all of these things just start aligning for them, like they answered my prayers. But that was really, really something that we might even keep looking at into this next coming month and into the future as well. But yeah, I was right to look at Soxo as you can see, but just not in the right direction. So that was a bad move as far as picking the direction because they were so bullish as far as the chart. But, news and events, often outweigh what the chart actually says. And it's actually a good thing that those chips are, putting it into reversal and going back to the upside because now that's a sector that we can really try to look at going forward to continue to impress, as you'll see in some of the ticket selections that we have coming up for you.
No, absolutely, man. Like that, semiconductors really showed like They showed they weren't trying to show the magic trick under their sleeve. That's what happened, you know. So especially with AMD and Soxel. Even one thing additionally here, Robinhood, you expected some bearishness, and Robinhood shot up, shot back down, and that's where we are right now. And so that we are actually able to, see that outcome as well, But that's where we were at the beginning of this 30 days ago. All right. And so the thing is here, so how we want to transition, all right? Let's look back and just think about this. Let's set the table for May, right? Because April handed us three new questions, and May is when they will get answered, all right? And so, is the Iran ceasefire trade fully priced in? All right. Right now, VIX, man, it hasn't been above 20 since April 8th. Right now, the market, it's fully digested the geopolitical risk. And so that upside, from this trade, it's mostly behind us, right? We definitely had a crazy bullish April, had some signs of like stickiness and sideways action, but right now it's the risk is if there's a ceasefire breakdown. We'll see what happens there if we cool off at all. Does Powell is not necessarily retiring. His term is ending in 2 weeks. All right. How is that going to adjust what the expectations are when it comes to interest rates? We know that the president went to get Warsh because he felt Powell wasn't lowering interest rates fast enough. He was, said he won't want to do it, don't want to risk have too much more inflation risk, right? And so right now, this is the most dissents from this most recent FOMC meeting, which was yesterday, where they discussed the interest rate decisions. Um, there was more dissent on the decision to keep interest rates the same. All right. And so now this is going to be a little interesting, but there's no FOMC meeting in May. There's no Federal Reserve meeting. So we won't see guidance on that until June. All right. June, I like to get into that as well because that's typically a bullish month. So we'll see what May sets up for that. And so then the third question is, can the overall conversation, because this is the conversation that's happening, what's happening right now amongst all of the Mag 7 stocks who all just reported earnings as if it was like a multitude Avengers moment yesterday, where we had Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and Google. Big Google on campus, by the way. But the running theme, despite whatever happened to their stock, is that they're increasing their CapEx. That means they're increasing the spending that they're doing on AI investments, right? And so a lot of those expenses can cut into their actual overall profits, right? And so this is where you see just all of these semiconductors, all of them rallying because of this, right? It's kind of confirming to some degree what we already knew. But that gets a little tricky, given what is the overall context here of AI. How is OpenAI as itself performing? Everyone's talking about Big Claude, Anthropic might be one of the first 1 trillion IPOs. They're looking to IPO pretty soon, right? And so that's going to be what we learn, especially as we venture into NVIDIA's earnings. All right. And so and you feel free to screenshot this page, all right? Because these are the main macro themes. And so we covered this on the previous slide, but feel free to take a screenshot here. This will help you and assist you during the May month. All right. We want to make sure you have these reminders as you navigate throughout May. Furthermore, feel free to take a screenshot of this page. All right. This is the economic calendar. All right. We don't have any FOMC, but we have some important data tomorrow. We have the first data tomorrow, the April jobs report. All right. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to have the CPI data. That's going to be huge. All right. Note these down. This is where we're going to have high volatility movement. When Powell's term ends, that will be kind of crazy. Powell has been doing this thing for over, man, his career spans a really long time, but just from our careers as traders, we've only known Powell really for the most part, right? And so that's going to be some of the things you pay attention to. And then lastly, towards the end of the month, we're going to have our PCE numbers, and that's going to be what the Fed uses for them to gauge how inflation is doing currently. All right. Make sense, everybody? Y'all still with me? One more thing to screenshot. This is the full earnings list you guys want to be looking at. Feel free to screenshot this. We start this May 18th. That is NVIDIA week. We know it's the big kahuna, big dog, big viddy. That's gonna be very insane, right? But even next week we have AMD, ARM, Uber, Lyft, Shop. Man, it's gonna be a lot of those growth tickers, especially. So it's not just done with Apple and friends from this week. We're keeping that going over the next few weeks as well. All right. And so what you do and what how we're gonna follow through. Now we're gonna jump into the setups. How we follow through with building a watch list, it's your charts are the final word. All right. We mentioned the LVL framework. There's 2 degrees for how we find a lot of the opportunities during these new month game plan sessions. And we go over this every single time we run this session. And so, and also if feel free to, if there's any questions that come up, we'll collect them and we'll make sure that they're answered for you either during the session or directly after. But typically, there's 2 ways we do this. We go to the higher time frames. Everyone's always asking, what time frame do I look at? We are using the monthly time frame, the 2 month time frame, the quarter, and the 6 month. We're typically using those 4 major time frames to come to an assessment for what types of setups we're finding. On those time frames, we're looking for 3 distinct things: a hammer, a shooter, and or an inside candle. All right. And that's when a candle is sitting inside of the range of the previous candle. Let's say if you have this current day and we haven't broken the high nor the low of the previous day, because that gives a setup for, if you've been in the academy, put what you know about inside candles in the chat. Let your friends and family know what you're expecting when you see a inside candle. There's one thing you first do, and then the second thing is you're looking for that. Definitely want to see you guys put that in the chat. But that's what we get into typically when we're looking at these charts. All right. Thank you, Tanisha. What we're looking at these charts is typically a break of those levels, or we're looking for reversals back through ranges on those higher time frame levels. All right. And that's what's the component of the LVL framework. All right. So we're going to show some real examples and get into everything you need to know here. All right. And so one of the first things to do is, in order to prepare properly for a new month, you guys are going to have some homework. After this session, you are going to go to your TradingView, download TradingView. We can also give you an invite link if you've never opened up TradingView, but set your alerts. All right. Set your alerts across these tickers. These are important sectors that you want to keep watch on.
I take us.
And that's going to be what we're going to utilize for that's what we're going to utilize for preparation, such that you have the exact levels that you need for those triggers. All right. And so for SPY, set those triggers at that 715, 720 zone. All right. So we need to see, are we going to break even higher to levels like 724, 736? All right. Or are we going to keep and cool off just a bit? Time frame continuity. Another concept, I know. When you have how many of these time frames are green or red, that's going to benefit your momentum for how these things shape up. All right. We have QQQ, we have SMH, and so semiconductors are breaking all-time highs. One of the bigger tickers I want to cover as well is JPM. You're going to see me talk about it in a moment. But there's a lot to watch about these banks. These banks are underrated. May historically is the bank month. You want to see and watch Bank of America, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, all right? Because that is going to be super important, especially when Mr. Man, the new FOMC guy, comes into play, all right? Because when he comes into play and Powell's term ends, the banks are rubbing their hands like Birdman, waiting for a massive bullish outcome. And we started to see some of that even start up today. All right. Look at Bitcoin. Who here owns Bitcoin, even just a sliver? Press a B in the chat if you own Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been sitting around, not really getting its way. But that level of consolidation, it consolidated for like all of April. Are we going to have a breakout from that consolidation? That's where you might want to look at May as your target month. All right. So we're going to see that if it's tradable and what other investments can come about that. And then so on and so forth. All right. Again, because of this Federal Reserve transition, look at the US dollar. That's going to be what we see down the line. All right. Big B's in chat. Big B's. All right. Thank you, family. You guys are expert investors. I see y'all. All right. And so here's the thing. And then we're going to jump into the opportunities. I'm going to give Jamal about 10 minutes to walk through his steps. And then I'm going to walk through some of my setups. And then we're also going to take a few questions and then close us out and give you guys what next steps that you guys should take directly after this call. All right. And so right now, what you guys have here is there are a lot of growth opportunities. Who here traded Intel? Who here traded Intel? Listen, Intel is a cheat code. Why? The US government is involved. They own 10%. They're not going to let this stock fail. That's what we saw. That was the biggest story of the month. All right. How much more are they going to put into Intel? I've said this to a couple of my students and some of my mentees already. You said Intel absolutely blessed you this month. All blessings, right? Intel, the biggest thing there is that it's think about Intel and think about Nvidia. And Intel's not going to be Nvidia, but Intel is 1/10 of Nvidia's entire market cap. And the story is that the government is trying to position it to be in that place of the provisions of those chips, those use cases, especially for a lot of their internal programs and things like, military and more, right? They're going to want to push this even higher. All right. That's something you have to watch very carefully. All right. But that's sitting at all-time highs along with Nvidia and Google. Man, Google, man. And I told some of y'all yesterday, I said in Google on earnings was going to do an Nvidia move, right? And now I haven't seen the news or the market cap yet, but I believe it is right there. It's right there, like about to surpass Nvidia as the biggest stock in the world. Goodness gracious. Google done took all of our money in YouTube premium subscriptions, right? But they're on their way to becoming the most valuable, more valuable than even damn Nvidia. And you know what they did? It's because they relied on themselves. They said that they're betting on themselves. They're betting on themselves and not some funky Nvidia. And because they're building their own TPUs, their own AI chipset that they can use internally such that they don't have to become reliant on big vidi. That makes them so competitive. And so we're going to think about SanDisk. We're going to look at Mara. Put Mara on your watch list. That's a bit underrated. That's going to be a great opportunity just to look forward. All right. Especially as we're talking about data center stocks, the energy, you need energy to make all of these things happen. And in the background, look at Royal Caribbean Cruise. All right. Look at Robinhood. It's it's time to start thinking about Robinhood shares, family. It's giving you a discount. It's giving you a discount. Think about those Robinhood shares. All right. And then think about the other side, anything that's similar to Intel, like MU, AVGO, AMAC. All right. Hopefully, this is giving you guys a lot of value. Tell me how I'm doing so far in chat out of 10. All right. So, Jamal, you ready? You ready?
Yeah, I can give it a rip.
Yep. And so, and feel free to take the screen sharing and anything that you need. Um, and yeah, uh, you feel free to cover the tickers, and if you need to go ahead on the charts, go ahead. And
Okay,
then
so
after
yeah,
that, I'll cover mine.
this is a small consolidation of the things that I'm looking at. So I just wanted to echo in the big selling factor of, this being Nvidia's month. So it's going to be chips, 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 chips. And so I just want to echo the fact that you should definitely have several chips on your watch list. The chip that I'm going with is QCOM specifically, but there's a lot of great chips that you can invest in. I think Key just mentioned one with ABG Go, which also has a great setup going into next month. And I actually was just looking at that and forgot to put it on here, but good that he mentioned it. So QCOM, if you're not in the know, just recently had outstanding earnings. And so I would say that we are kind of late to the breakout because it's currently breaking out right now. So the one thing that I would look forward to is if we have, a dip, as we often do at the beginning of these months. And so I'm really looking for a retracement back to around 186, 89. And I'm looking to buy it, especially if it's going back up after triggering under 186.89. But anywhere around that number on QCOM is a good buy for me. An expectation that it's going to keep going up, it's going to keep getting business. Because what you don't know is that QCOM has a lot of chips in our cell phones. And so all of these other chips are, generally AI infrastructure, AI data center base, whereas QCOM's chips are more into the cell phones, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't be a big player in the AI spectrum as well. If we talk about implementing AI via our cell phones, via software, or maybe even the technology inside it. And so that's where they're going to start ramping up is trying to, use that magic word AI in through the ecosystem that they already have. So Cisco isn't necessarily a setup; it's more of a feeling type of thing. But having said that, Cisco anywhere near 89.30, especially again after a pullback, if we do, like we often sometimes do, have a little pullback at the beginning of the month, anywhere going back up above 89.30 will be good for Cisco. Cisco is not going to be the star athlete, but it is going to consistently get you points, get you assists, get you rebounds. It's going to do all of those hard player. It's going to give you a good effort. So Cisco currently right now is trading at all-time highs, but it secretly got there by being very, very bullish in the background. So what I'm just trying to echo is that Cisco is not going to be, a household name like even the Oracle or, something to that matter. But they are going to put up those consistent profits that, cause institutional investors to continue to invest in it. So this is a good one to look at for next month as well as longer term as it, silently keeps chugging uphill. And then we have Lilly and Tesla that have those good old fashioned failed two downs that I love. They both have those on the month. And so that's a standard strap break. If you're looking at Lilly, Lilly is bullish above 945.50. Also, Lilly has a higher high, higher low type of structure that is also can be seen on the month that we also like that kind of institutes that trend going to the upside. And I believe it's the same thing with Tesla, with the higher high from a lower high, and a lower low, a higher low from a lower low, basically instituting an uptrend as seen on the monthly. So with that being said, like I said, Lilly above 94, 945.50, and then Tesla above 409 to break those fail two downs on the month. But other than that, definitely, like I said, you want to have a chip on your team or on your watch list. Have a bank, as talked about, and then maybe even a consumer staple as well, just in case we get a little bit hectic. And I know no one talked about this so far, but also maybe also considering an oil. We don't have any of those on this chart, but also considering a CVX or a ZOM or even an XLE, just in case this war kind of takes, a turbulent turn and the strait is not open. We all know, at least from me talking, is that, when the war is on, oil prices in general are going up and the market is going down. And when the war is so-called toning down, then the market goes up and oil prices go down. So that's the theory and that's the thesis as of now. Today it didn't really act like that, but in general, that's what it seems to be the correlation between oil and the market in general. If one goes up, the other goes down, and if the other goes up, then the other goes down.
Okay.
No, yeah, I see. You all good, Jamal?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right. So make sure you guys note those down. Uh, you guys are still able to see the screen. I think something else
Yes,
might have been
sir.
shown. All right. Um, But yeah, we have this going on. This is going to be one of our major looks, all right? And make sure you diversify. Always feel free to make sure you diversify what you have, all right? Again, we're going to give the full playbook after. We're going to have it all summarized for you, all organized neatly for you, such that you know exactly where to take action. Don't worry, guys. We definitely have this ready for you, all right? So put this directly on your watch list. But again, we have some goodies for you if you stay to the end. We'll give you all of the goods that you need so you can take action from this. All right. And so, right here, this is my personal playbook. What's the stock that is the same running theme here, family? What stock do you see here that you might have seen somewhere else? Big Tesla, right? Big Tesla. But hymns, that's definitely true. Hymns has been hymning, all right, singing plenty of hymns. Lots of blessings. And so I'm definitely going to be looking at hymns, all right? But I definitely want to cover Tesla and add as well to what Jamal had shared here. I'm going to share my screen on a few of these. Right now, I've just been whatever had popped up on the screen earlier is kind of just because I'm trying to organize the space on my screen. But Tesla, big thing there is it just triggered. Woo! It just triggered on its LVL to the upside. All right. And so I want to show you guys what that looks like. And for those who aren't aware, okay, right now it says there's some window. All right, I'm just trying to make sure this is all visible. All right. You only have so much to be able to be seen on your screen. So here on Tesla, I'm just going to switch over to this. All right. Let me know if you could see that screen. Press one. There might be something there. Hold on. Give me one quick sec, fam. All right. And so here on Tesla, what are we doing? And let's break down what the LVL is. By the way, here on the left side of the screen, this is what we use. Who here uses the screener? Anybody, any screener users here? And how does this help you guys? Press one, press me, say me if you're one of the users here. What this does for us every given week, every given month, every given day, it gives us a list of opportunity. All right. This list is what gave us star players like AMD, gave us star players like Amazon. All right. Really big movements over the course of the past month. But here we're going to shift our perspective here to Tesla because here, if you're able to see, very tiny right there. Let me see if I can draw it. Right here on there, you see Tesla. And so what I see in very tiny text, that says Tesla and it says long entry. All right. And so Tesla, it's only moved 4% there. It's only moved 4%, which means this is an opportune moment. All right. Let me show you guys. So what we're going to do is what we're seeing here. I'm on the 3-month time frame here. And let me go full screen now. And what I mentioned to you guys, every single time we're looking at a setup, we are looking for major reversals back through previous ranges. And now Tesla, I'm a little biased because, you know, not too keen on the cars. No offense to anybody who got the Tesla, but it's something about the spend, how much spend that they've been putting towards AI that had investors a bit risky, myself included as an investor in Tesla. What are we doing, bro? And so Tesla has been getting bodied for a long time. But what we look at and how we break down this chart is that we have it such that we take the previous range and analyze what is going on that range, right? So I didn't even need an indicator. Some people might be like, what is that you just drew on the screen? Well, what I drew on the screen, it's this fib retracement tool that is on TradingView. But don't think too, some people see fib or Fibonacci and they see the numbers and they start panicking and doing the, you know, Mary J. Blige during their trading days. But we don't need to do that. All we need are 3 levels here when we're looking at the overall stock here. All right. So what we're looking for is that we have the quarter of that range, and then we have the halfway point of that range. All right. And so what we're looking for at any of those given moments is that we're looking for a cross of that. We're looking for a cross of that quarter range to get towards that halfway point. And so we started on that so far this month, but right now we want to finish the job. All right. So when Tesla went up really high up earlier this month, now I'm on the daily time frame, we crossed this quarter level, got to the halfway point, right? And so now we're making a second attempt. And not only can we just get the same amount of movement, there is an opportunity that Tesla gets to some of these previous highs, right? So now let me just go back again one more time and just demonstrate again what the LVL is. And it's how we find so many quality, high probability setups. Because we're looking for us breaking a previous low and then reversing. That's called liquidity. And then we're looking for the trend to get validated, higher highs and higher lows. And now recently, this is the first major higher low since we bounced and reversed it. All right. And we made higher highs because these are higher than that over there. And so if Tesla decides to go and we get that break on the daily, on the weekly, so on and so forth, that can be a space for us to get back all the way through this range. And we have until the end of June for Tesla to make that move. Now we have to look at if our investors as excited about this setup as I am. Did anyone catch Tesla today? I caught a really good 50% on some of those options today, but those ended up going even up to 200, so on and so forth. Tesla gives the volatility. What we teach is that don't be afraid of volatility, embrace it, take it in, all right? That's what we are able to cover, all right? So now I'm going to speed run through some of these other setups here, all right? And if there's any questions you have in chat, Jamal, feel free to answer some of these questions in chat, or we'll bookmark it, make sure we come back to you, all right? Dove, I'm gonna ignore this comment in chat. All right. But with HPE, with HPE, what we have is that this has reversed off of previous lows. Where did we just hear that from? Oh, yeah, me. What we're looking at here is that we're looking for this to get back to previous highs. Hewlett Packard. This is an underrated stock. Out of all of these AI buddies and whatnot, Hewlett Packard, the computer maker, well, they are so opportune. I can see this going to 35 and moving with the intensity that it needs based on the demand for AI that we clearly see because of all of these big companies' earnings reports where they're increasing their spend, their spend on all of these components. All right. And it just so happens that HPE is one of those high providers and is a very much positioned to give really great outcomes. All right. Dell is a bit similar as well. I just wanted to show HPE because that was on my watch list. Now, here's my big kahuna trade. All right. Besides Tesla, Tesla's not really big kahuna because it needs to show me something, just a little bit of thought. All right. But here, CVS, this is the 2-month chart. All right. This is the 2-month chart. And so that's all you have to do on TradingView is type in 2, then M, and you get a custom time frame. I don't believe they allow this on free plans, unfortunately, but this is something that you can do to find really unique setups. So when you split the month into when you split the year into 2-month increments, that means you start a new month every 2 months. So we have January and February, then we have May and April, or excuse me, January and February, then we have March and April, and then now we're starting a new one in May. That's tomorrow. And so what we have there is that this has a hammer. It's bringing all right, because y'all getting me with some pause stuff, but it's bringing it, and that this is going to have a huge opportunity here to the upside. So what we're looking at with some of these previous highs here, all right, is that we're looking for an opportunity for this to return to highs of like 93, 94, but as high as 104 from current levels. That is a 24% increase from towards the upside. And now, if you guys saw what I just demonstrated for Tesla, there's a lot of opportunity here for what you would expect and what you can understand and come to learn why this looks like a good opportunity. Does this look like a good opportunity to anyone else? Tell me. Sure, I can have some opportunities, right? And have some ideas, but you guys are leading with yourselves because how we build traders, how we build students throughout everything we do is that we want to give you the challenge of being able to make that determination. Because once we're out there in these market streets, what type of protection are you going to give yourself such that you're going to be able to weather the storm? And how do you navigate your decision making during each trading day? What we're looking at here is we see a reversal, a major reversal from back here. And we've been slowly climbing throughout previous years from 2024. But now, after we've made higher highs, right, we're looking to make an upside with the trend. Now that we're looking to establish an uptrend. If we break a hammer, and like we said towards the beginning about how we find these major setups, we can surge to previous highs. One of the most important levels we have to get over is 85. There's a possibility we hit this previous high and curtains, right? But above 85, I'm looking at $90 calls, $100 calls for January 2027. All right. Keep that in mind, family. And think about, think about because another ticker I have here is HIMS. You guys saw that on the setup. And one thing about HIMS is this is the 2 month. We have an inside candle, right? This is an inside candle. And so there's an opportunity for a break here above 31.86, let's say 32. What's going on with HIMS? What's going on with America? A lot of this excitement, obviously, about these weight loss pills, a lot of excitement suddenly about peptides. People who may be joining us here from the Wealth Squad, you guys are familiar, right? Everybody's catching on to this. And so when we come to distribution and that those types of opportunities from suppliers like CVS, how does this all come in shape all together? Think about it. Where does this all fall into this whole picture? That's where I want you guys to think even beyond what we're covering here today in this session. All right. And then lastly, what I'll cover here is with JP Morgan. JP Morgan, this was the 2 month, and now we had the very final day of our 2 month. We were not able to finish the job. You guys are able to see we were retracing back through the range of January and February. But are we going to try to finish the job? Is Powell's potential departure going to give some opportunities there? All right. And so with this, we have continuation. There can be movements to all-time highs. If I were to see this to all-time highs and beyond, I would say that our levels and targets would be, here are the targets and levels, 326.40, 337, that's all-time highs, and 353 is what you're looking at. And that's a massive increase to the upside here for JP Morgan. And so those are my main tickers as I'm looking at. And there's quite a few more I want to put on the table there for you guys. One of them being TSSI. I think I saw Jamal smile because Jamal had been watching and looking at TSSI. But what we have here is that this has a quarter break. It's breaking the high of a previous quarter, which means it has all the way until July 1st to get to 21. All right. And that's a 40% increase to the upside. It's either a 40% increase or a bit more conservative. Let's say up to $18. That's still 15% increase to the upside. And it's a semiconductor-centered stock. You guys want to look at this for Friday because we're going to have some lottos going on there. All right. You guys all good? I'm gonna, and so we're gonna transition here. One thing, or before that, somebody did mention this stock, and I believe I responded here in chat. I'm gonna cover two more stocks based on what you guys mentioned in chat, and then we're gonna give you guys our expert opinion furthermore. All right. So CHPY. One thing that we teach and that we're gonna be covering, especially over the next 5 weeks in May, starting May 15th, is that we're going to cover the I see the excitement here in chat. We are going to cover the full strategy, detailing exactly how you can have your system on autopilot and paying yourself every single week with these high yield dividend investing. And not only that, on top of that, you get the opportunity to be trading the underlying stock with leaps, where you're having a engine. And so this is the options dividend engine strategy. And one of the stocks covered here, and I'm so glad someone brought it up because it's the stock, CHPY. And then another one is WHOW, and we'll see about our investment there. I'm looking for an entry there. You guys will know when I get in because I'll be screaming at the top of my lungs. But CHPY, you get paid on a weekly basis based on the performance of the entire semiconductor sector. And so while so many of us, myself included, have ARM contracts for 2027, and you're being benefited off of these setups that we're finding here in this new month session, that you're able to find high quality leaps, trade them to significant highs or significant lows if the stock sucks, but then get paid weekly for also additionally reinvesting those profits back into any investment vehicles like the dividend stocks. You get paid weekly. And it's something exciting. Let me know if you guys want to learn more about that. Let me know. Let me know. And then another thing, BE. I saw this mentioned in chat here. Yeah, BE is pretty crazy. This is for energy regarding, you guys know it, AI. Other stocks to watch in that sector as well. Watch this for Friday or next Monday. Put OKLO for Friday or next Monday because that's going to get a little, whoo. All right. Just saw, the Michael movie that, but that's going to be our major components there, family. All right. And that's what we're extremely, extremely excited to jump into. And I'm very much, May is just going to be such a banger of a month. All right. And so now as we proceed, next thing that's up, I'm going to give you guys some extremely important things to do next as homework. All right. And that's what we're going to cover as we go forth here in today's session. But I want to make sure you guys got all. Did you guys take notes? Who took notes? Who took notes here? All right. Who took notes? Because we want to make sure you guys are actually prepared and that you're doing exactly what you need to do. All right. And so here are the next things. All right. So what you have to do before this upcoming Monday, or this is Tuesday, excuse me, but be prepared as soon as you can. All right. So first, go ahead and review all of those recap charts. Again, we'll give you the list of all those stocks. Review them, actually understand why these setups worked. What was behind it that made it very valuable? And we covered a lot of that earlier in this presentation. And anybody who joined late, again, we're going to be giving you the full playbook directly after this session as soon as the recording saves and you get access to the recording. All right. And then we're going to show you right now about what those next steps are. So review those those setups, really deeply understand it. Through that knowledge, that's how you build pattern recognition. All right. And then next, set those trading view alerts. Like I said, all right. Not only set those trading view alerts, mark the opening price of all of the stocks you see open tomorrow. That price that any stock you care about that opens, that will be the price you care about from May 1st all the way to the end of May. All right, to the very last day of May. That level is your North Star. All right, build your chart list. Take some of the tickers we covered today and then throw in and compare for some of the stocks that you're looking at. Go through the watch list. All right. Also, thing I'll drop here as well in the chat. I'm going to give you guys here my own personal watch list that you guys can go ahead, put on your own charts if you have TradingView, and that you have all of the stocks that you should ever care about when you're trading here in the market. Let me know if that's something you want here. All right, all right, all right. So here, I'm going to copy and paste this a lot of times. This is the list, all right? That's the list. That's yours to keep, all right? Over 400 of those high-quality tickers, indices, cryptos, all the things. Even my investments are in there, all right? So you get to know exactly what I'm invested in. And so that's there for you. You can scroll up in the chart, in the chat if you didn't see it. And plan around with that when NVIDIA comes into play. All right. That's what I'm gonna give you is there, and save those dates that are important there. All right. And so that's the game plan there. The levels are set, the dates are circled. You've got your homework. But I want to take a quick moment before we wrap, because if you've been in this room for the last hour, you know what the game plan is already about. All right. It's not just about ARM and all of these things that are coming about here for whatever my success is, right? All I'm doing and demonstrating is the proof. Having 300% on the portfolio this month. A lot of that built from that last session we planned here together, and how to reinforce those habits to make sure that this is exactly the outcomes that I desire and how we push forward from there. All right. And so, what this is the difference between trading on opinion and making sure we're trading on structure. All right. And so, what we're having here next month and what we're stringing together is a full on program that is built to make sure that your habits and more are supercharged and fit to meet your discipline and your schedule. And that's what we do every single week based on the LVL framework, pairing you exactly with a mentor who knows your plan is similar in your exact component, and how you're able to navigate such that it goes beyond just a full-on charting session or full-on chat that you can't track your actual performance. And so what we're doing differently here is that this is specifically a 5-week program that's also including the getting an understanding of where you are and tracking your real performance by connecting your broker, tracking your trades, and then getting the full details for what types of trades you need to make and what types of adjustments that you have to make. And that's what we built here inside of this full program. All right. And so this is the same program right here that we helped past participants generate over $104,000 in collective gains since November. All right. And so right now, we are making the transition as we're bringing this together, and we're inviting anyone who's still struggling, still trying to figure out what are they looking at? What types of adjustments do they need to make? Where is the core area that they still haven't figured out? And the one thing, I want you guys to take this, if anything from today's session, write this term down. This term is called discretionary decay. All right. And so I'm going to put this in chat. And so discretionary decay, this is the moment where our decisions start to decay over time because of how many decisions we have to make in the market, such that every single time you go to actually, you know the knowledge, you know where to get stopped out, right? Or you know where to set your stops. You have all this information to follow, but you adjust in real time at those very opportune, specific moments. And at those specific moments, what happens? You freeze, you hesitate, and you don't know what is going on, especially as you're trying this, that doesn't work. And so you try the opposite, that works sometimes, but then that doesn't work. And you're flipping and flopping between what is happening for you. All right. And so that is within 5 weeks, we want to demonstrate and get to the real meat and bones for where discretionary decay actually shows up for you. When that happens, does anyone hesitate when you actually see the trade? Does that still happen even after all of what you might have consumed as information? Press one in the chat if that's you. But what we're doing differently here is that I want to make sure everyone is equipped with not just a mentor, but also having me at their side to be able to review your trades, to be able to give you direct feedback, and that you have a full the full capability, all of my experience and the over 30 years combined experience of our mentors right there by your side as you're trading. All right. And so right now, what we're doing specifically for this call is that we're actually going to open up 10 more spots for this. And what we've seen as these outcomes for a lot of our students, and I don't know if Jeremy, Anisha, or Raquel is here on the call, but these are real examples where we had a full Jeremy is just crazy, man. He tripled his portfolio. Actually, he's six, I don't know, that's sextupled his portfolio in just 30 days, utilizing the LVL framework as well as all the teachings where we had just a bit of an adjustment in his strategy. But we have so many of these stories within the academy such that we're able to make that transition. But what I recognized is that it takes just an extra step, and that's with getting a full call such that we're able to hear you directly before you even start. All right. And so what I want to do right now is for the next 10 folks, we're opening up spots because and we're going to be rolling out more right now. But for this session, there's 10 spots that are available here. We want to give you guys to make sure that this is accessible, that you're able to you're able to navigate and actually understand what issues are there. And if you do it today, I'm going to throw in that 15-minute intro call that you have a full interview with me. I will hear all of what you're experiencing, all of what's been going on, and I'm going to build a full playbook right there during the call. All right. And I'm going to send it over to you as an email such that you're able to progress and have your next trading day be something that you actually plan and that you feel confident about. And then throughout the session, throughout the 5 weeks, that's when we're going to be talking to you in the private chat so that we're able to engage you actually during those 5 weeks. It's such that it's not just after. It's not just after where, okay, I went through this session and I didn't really do anything. What did I get out of it? I didn't really make anything there. You're going to see those real adjustments made in real time. And this time we're making sure that is guaranteed there. All right. And so anyone for that session, that is what we're giving there. I'm dropping the link here in chat such that that opportunity is available there as well. If you're not able to make every session, I'm seeing these questions here in chat. We have all of the sessions recorded. We have also the chat such that we're able to engage outside of any regular hours, especially if, work shows up or having to, watch over kids. That's typically a lot of the people we get into our academy that typically they do trading as part-time work while they're navigating their real job. But we make sure to work within your schedule and to also make sure that your mentor is understanding of all of your needs as you have me by your side. All right. And so anyone who's currently in Academy Live, we have that list and link there for you. We're going to, in the Academy Live Discord chat, if you're there. So we're going to post that directly after so that your specific avenue is clear, given you're coming back to the Academy, and we're making sure that you are rewarded for all of the work that's shown up there for you. All right. And so that's how we're going to navigate that. There's additional questions there. There's quite a few people asking about getting the LVL framework. Right now, we have a direct waitlist there for you to sign up. And if you go to lvl.teach.trade, you'll have all of the information there if you haven't tapped in. But if you're in the academy today, if you're already in the academy or you've been in the academy live ongoing, today is actually the last day for the Pro Max. All right. All those details are there in the Discord. All right. But you guys know, because we've been talking for a while within the Academy chat, you guys know what types of opportunities we're looking for you specifically, because you've been coming back. We want to reward you just like we've been able to platform, especially a lot of our recent members. Is Chris here? I don't know if Chris is here, our LVL challenge winner. All right. And so that's what we're going to showcase to you. All right. But further on, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that any additional questions about this upcoming session any questions about this upcoming session, about this particular monthly charting session, any stocks you wanted to cover, anything more, we want to make sure that this is an opportunity for you to have the floor because at Teach Straight, it's just about your voice and making sure that every opportunity is available there to you. All right. Any tickers I missed? Options Optimizer is out, brother or sister. Blake is a gender neutral name. Here, I'm taking a note of specifically that, and I'm going to reach out directly to you, Blake. No problem, NP. All right, see you guys. Some of these questions here. Let me know again in the meantime. I'm reading through questions. Let me know how I did. Let me know how Jamal did here today out of 10. We want to make sure that this next month goes as well as April has in terms of preparation. But in the meantime, between the beginning of May and the end of May, it's all about the execution and being able to adjust quickly from our mistakes. All right. Yeah, we can definitely check out Celsius. Here, I'm going to share my chart. Let's get some more value here. Let's get some more value, some more opportunities. Now, before I cover Celsius, I do want to just share one thing with you guys, all right? Because someone actually, to go back, someone actually asked me about Open Door, right? Who here got into Open Door? Raise your hand. And then keep your hand raised if you got cooked on Open Door today. Me, you can't see me, my camera shut off, but me right here, right? And so the thing is, last week we got 1,000% on NVIDIA. A lot of people utilizing the options optimizer, they were able to follow suit. I don't know if Terry is here. Terry got 3,000% on NVIDIA. How? How? Last week. But it's the same concept that we covered, right? And we had the same opportunity when we got a big win on what's it called? Oxy just a few days ago. And so Open had the same setup, right? Where we're looking for a retracement back through a major range, right? And so we hit a previous low, right? We hit a previous low. We reversed, we made a higher high and a higher low, and we're retracing a quarter of that range. And so what I saw as that opportunity was between a 9 to 50% increase from those current levels. But today happened and they dumped on us, right? But now they're about, and so took a loss. And I felt so confident about it. And then let me know if this shows up for you guys as well, where you feel as though you chart a setup, you really put conviction behind it, and it's still it's disappointing, right? I woke up today and saw those red candles. I'm like, oh my God. And then double it because it's just like I know so many people trading and wanting to have and lock in and make this work. You know, that's what I think about every single time when we're having these sessions, or even when I'm trading or sharing any of my trades. You know, the goal here always is not to become reliant on me to be able to mark your own pathway. But by being a leader, it's like I have to stand in whatever I created or whatever I led through. And so it's disappointing when that happens for sure, right? And so, but one thing I wanted to mention, and this is the shift, is that as you navigate any of these scenarios, that the mindset that you put forth for your execution and for your outcomes is that discretionary decay and overcoming it is by having a system that when a loss happens, it puts you in the position of the next great opportunity, just like this. Just like this, so that you're not overthinking and being like this about the last trade. And you're thinking, some people I know 2 weeks from now, they're gonna be like, open, or they're gonna be like, anyone still holding open, right? They're gonna be asking and these things, but what that does is holding on to that and not being able to overcome that discretion is what holds you back. It's what holds you back, and that you can't navigate, and that the system isn't there such that you have another opportunity. Because a lot of people think in the minimalist sense of trading that the opportunities have to work. And if they don't, then what do I do? And then you're lost. And so the system that puts you into higher levels of opportunity is the options optimization. All right. And so with that, what we were able to navigate today is that took a big loss on open, but we have our alert set, we have our full dashboard and more set. Tesla gave an opportunity today. And how I knew Tesla had an opportunity was simply because I'm able to look at the options chain and then get a full read on exactly what are the best trades and opportunities. And so here, and this is something that I built, this is the options optimizer. And this is based on options value optimization. And so the secret in options trading, and this is what you guys should carry forward here in your next trading month, is that charting the options will get you far. And this is what we're covering a lot in May, especially during the academy term in the spring semester. And so when I was able to look at this, what happened as Tesla was moving up is that I started to see a lot of gold being lit up here. This is a full-on options chain directly in TradingView. And then what this shows is that it gives space for seeing the volume, seeing the contract price, and then how it's trading. And so this star, if you guys are able to see, let me zoom in just a bit. This star shows the best options contract based on volume and based on movement. And now we're going to open up that options contract right now because we have to see what was going on. And this is what the shift was, that even after a loss, that big loss on open, opportunity jumped and was currently present to take action right again. All right. And so what happened here is that this contract on Tesla, this was trading here, the 380. And what we're looking at is the same thing we just talked about all of those stocks that we're looking at, is that we're looking for a retracement back into the range of a previous day. And so as this broke and pushed here beyond, that was what gave us an entry opportunity with clear defined targets. And so from this moment of about 11 a.m., this gave a breakout that pushed and gave lots of opportunity to go not only to this first take profit level right here, not only to this take profit level right there, because that gave what? 23%. But later in the day, let me speed this up just a bit. Later in the day, we get all the way up here. And so not only was it just that much, this gave 200% just about of opportunity based on charting the options contract directly. And how I knew that, I do this manually myself typically, but how I knew that was because it appeared right there. All right. And so we're giving you a full sneak peek and early access if you've never touched this before in the Academy session, such that you understand what is the real actual sauce for actually cracking the market. And a lot of that is due in with charting the options contracts directly. We explain this from A to Z. And I have lots of videos. If you guys follow me on Twitter, if you go to key levels, that's KI levels on Twitter, I have loads of videos there just talking about this even further. But we want to make sure that this system is installed directly for you all the way through. All right. And so now I'm going over to this ticker here that I was asked about, which is Celsius. And so Celsius here, it's a very similar on the side of Tesla, right? I know a lot of you guys like Celsius. I don't know if Michael Crow is here or anything. Big energy drink, and it was a big opportunity for so long. But this has opportunity to have a big Friday because this is retracing back through the range of not just its previous week, but also through its previous 2 week time frame. All right. And so trading through its previous week right here. And then the 2 week has the opportunity for this to push from 33 to 34, 39, or even as high as 36, 46. All right. So Celsius looks like a great opportunity. It's the same concept, the same one we demonstrate, but it's just about identifying it and having the courage and confidence instilled to actually take action because we're done with hesitation. We're done with hesitation in April. I said, no, we have to have the system that you just do it, doesn't work, you hop into another opportunity and being able to capitalize on that as that, factors in. All right. But that's the full demonstration. Hopefully, let me know if anything that I covered here helps you guys in terms of and if it, let me press 9. Press 9 in chat if what I just covered is something that you've never heard about. I definitely want to know. I definitely want to know how many people press 9 because this is something that is simply not talked about or that people haven't just cracked it to share with the sense with other folks. And so my job right now, and I told people at the end of 2025, all we're going to be doing all 2026 is getting everybody hip as much as possible on this information because this is what has truly transformed my trading forever. If you guys saw $5,000 to $127,000 at the end of last year, just April, $2,900 towards 12,000. Took a bit of a loss. I'm back at 10,000 today, so I took a loss today. But so I'm about 250% up for April. That's how I'm closing it out. But May, I have to take it even further. All right, to take it even further, we're gonna be managing and making sure that it's not just about us looking for big trades. It's for us actually taking control of the trading that we're actually doing. All right, and so that's what we cover. And yes, what's also who attended guided trading these past 3 days? Anybody attended guided trading these past 3 days? Press yes in chat. So what we do overall during these sessions, during those 5 week mentorships, and then if you guys want to stick with me and keep it going, that's also where we have guided trading sessions such that we're doing full live demonstrations of all of these systems in real time. On what day was it, guys? When we caught QQQ? We caught QQQ, and there was another trade that we caught this week. But it just like it happened so fast. I remember, but it's really wild when we see it in real time, and we just get like crazy benefit off of it. Um, and AMD, I know Shay. I don't know if she's here today, but Shay has been yelling about AMD the past 3 days, and that was something that she's a mentor and she was able to just call out. She's always calling out AMD, but bringing attention because it's just going, going, going. And so with those opportunities, we're able to navigate this live and not only just saying, "Oh, these are nice call outs and whatever." It's more so that we're guiding you exactly through how we're finding the setup, where the entry is and exit on any of these opportunities, and then doing direct recaps on why what happened and how you integrate this directly depending on the type of trader you are. And so that's 3 days a week. And with the mentorship, you're also going to have some direct time with me to be able to talk through a lot of these setups as they're happening and doing recaps as well. And so that's a lot of what we're covering here today, family. So yeah, options value optimization. All right. And so if you guys want to know a bit more about options value optimization, feel free to, if you've never heard about it, feel free to shoot me an email here. You could send it here or my personal email right here, which is Third Childhood. Any Nas fans in chat? Anyone a fan of Nas? Second Childhood? Third Childhood is
Jay-Z,
something
sir.
that, oh yeah, we have some Nas fans. All right. So Third Childhood, I'm a huge Nas fan. I'm also a great Jay-Z fan, so don't jump me.
Nah,
Two
nah, I'm just
goats.
messing with you. Good to hear your voice, man. I haven't been on in a while, man. It's Kev.
Man, you too, Kevin, man.
I know we
Man,
gotta
bro.
link up. I know we gotta link, man.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Yeah, feel free to shoot me a text as well. Yo,
All right,
Simon,
will
how you
do.
doing, Simon? So
I'm
you come
very
on
good. I'm
people.
very good. Thank you for the teachings today.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was nice. I downloaded it, but it was great. Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, nice to hear from you, Simon. Yo, everyone's here in the chat today. I'm seeing so many beautiful faces. Who's here from Todd Capital Days, man? Press big T in chat. So we came a long way, family. And so this is the pathway forward. And this is truly a family. And I really want to make sure that I'm giving all the resources I can with the time that I can. Jamal, everyone, give a number of how Jamal did today in today's session. I'm so grateful for Jamal and the opportunities that, he calls out because, man, Jamal is a machine with all the opportunity, bro. I fumbled the data centers, Mom. I'm sorry. I should have been invested in them Jones, man. But yeah, man. Shout out to Jasmine. Shout out to Shay, Stephanie, Ray. Shout out to Ray. Who knows Ray here in chat? And also shout out to Rose, 8x Trading. Shout out to the broader trading community, everyone there. We're really grateful to have you on here. Again, feel free. I'm just going to drop one more message here, just with all of the links that we covered here today, that you guys can go ahead and get ahead. And again, we're going to send you directly after this all of the resources and the full recap of today's session. All right. So So feel free to screenshot that link if you need it. Um, and I just want to make sure everyone's able to get it before we hop off. But if you guys want more time with me, just again click that link there, as well as feel free to reach out to me in the Discord anywhere you are. And yeah, I'm really grateful. Yeah, today's last day party. So Academy students, we're going to send you one more email after this, because we just want to make sure you guys have all the info because today's the last day for something that we sent to you via email. So shout out to the LVL. I can't wait to work with a lot of you for just building consistency throughout May. We are extremely excited to bring you on into the family here. All right. But we want to just make sure all the tools, all the resources are here for you to recap. So with that, because I have to go see wifey up over there and get something to eat for dinner, I'm going to head out there. All right. And so if you post in the Discord that you signed up, I'm going to give you as well a big bonus on top of that. All right. I'm going to add you to the private chat with me, not on May 5th, but today, if you post in the Discord that you signed up and that you're ready for the mentorship. Thanks, guys. Extremely grateful. As always, we're going to keep this pushing and we're going to make sure we all level up. Thanks, guys. Be blessed, be safe, and have a great weekend. Tomorrow's my mom's birthday. And so I got to get her something special. All right. So thanks, guys.